Y'all, first of all, I want to apologize. This is not going to be a really polished video like a lot of them. I try to put a lot into editing and things, but I just need to get my thoughts out there on this because this keeps coming up. I touch on a lot of this stuff in my original video, which I'll link up here and down in the description. It was a response to a video I saw by Thomas DeLauer about how you should take a tablespoon of blackstrap molasses every day to reverse insulin resistance. And a lot of people have come to my video and said, hey, what kind of molasses do I need to use? They didn't even watch the video. People are asking me if molasses is the new secret to reversing insulin resistance. Please watch the first video. The answer is no. And the reasons are simple. Number one, the studies that were cited did not test any form of molasses. It tested filtered molasses concentrate, which is a totally different product. Watch the other video, I explain all about that. They're not testing any syrup in your pantry. The syrup in your pantry is still sugar, and that's not even the most dangerous part that nobody's talking about. I'll get into that in a minute. Let me just dive real quick into what insulin resistance actually is, how molasses is actually made, and why it can't undo the problem it helps create, but I will tell you some things you can do to help reverse insulin resistance. A few studies did show that post-meal glucose and insulin was slightly better by taking some of this filtered molasses concentrate. It's a sugar-reduced and polyphenol-rich extract. I've looked for it. You cannot buy the stuff. It's sold to big food manufacturers. You have to have a food manufacturing license to even get it. That is not the same as blackstrap molasses, unsulfured molasses, or whatever anybody else tells you to do. FMC is a clean, low-sugar product, and molasses in your pantry is a sugary syrup. I mean, mixing those up is like comparing a decaffeinated green tea extract to sweet tea. So what is insulin resistance in the first place? It's not some villainous hormone, it's a signaling problem. So what happens? You eat carbs, your blood sugar rises, and insulin has to come in to remove that from your blood. At any given time, you should have 1 teaspoon of sugar in your blood. So how is taking 3 times that in a tablespoon of blackstrap molasses going to work? So you eat that, insulin comes in to get that out of your blood, and that happens again and again. Every time you're taking that tablespoon of blackstrap molasses, your insulin has to come in to clear that sugar out of your blood. That's what it's there for. Do that time after time for days, months, years, and your cells start ignoring insulin. Your pancreas have to produce more insulin, you start storing more fat, your cravings climb, your energy crashes, and you start getting really inflamed. Reversing insulin resistance means less and less spikes, better sleep and stress control, more muscle activity, and more nutrients that will improve insulin sensitivity. It's not reversed by adding more sugar to your diet and hoping the antioxidants reverse it. It ain't gonna happen. This is how molasses is made. Molasses is a syrup that's left over after sugar cane or sugar beets are basically boiled down and all the sugar is removed from them. Molasses is left over. Blackstrap is the last boil. Every time after they extract syrup, they boil it again, remove some of the sugar crystals, and so what's left is a sticky remains with all the minerals and polyphenols. Obviously there's no minerals left in pure cane sugar. And guess what? Even though they've gotten a lot of the sugar crystals out of there that they can use for that cane sugar, that white stuff on the table, there's still plenty of sugar left in the molasses. But guess what? All that's been reduced down, the good stuff and the bad stuff I'm going to talk about in a minute. And those minerals and polyphenols and antioxidants don't somehow negate the effects of the sugar. A spoonful of an antioxidant-rich sugar is still sugar. So insulin resistance improves when you reduce blood sugar, flatten the post-meal curve, and give your insulin a break. Regular molasses still raises your blood sugar because you're putting sugar into your body. It's common sense, guys. You're basically repeating the same thing that caused the insulin resistance in the first place. You're also adding calories you don't need. And sure, molasses has got plenty of magnesium, it's got potassium, it's got iron, but you need a lot to get any meaningful amount of those, and a lot of that means you're eating a lot of sugar. But here's the part that nobody's talking about: contaminants. Sugarcane has been used to remediate soil from places that have heavy metal. It's called phytoremediation. You can plant sugarcane in soils where there's a lot of heavy metals, and it will pull that up into the sugarcane. Most of it stays in the roots, but a lot of it's contained in the plant. So what do you think happens when you boil that down and concentrate it all? You're concentrating the minerals, the antioxidants, and the polyphenols. Guess what else you're concentrating? Heavy metals. I am going to put these 2 things up on the screen for you. This first one's a warning that's on the back of the molasses from California. And a lot of people say, oh, well, California's crazy. They put this label on everything. Well, we'll look at that in a second. Consuming this product can expose you to chemicals including lead and acrylamide, which are known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. It's not only known in the state of California, it's a fact. This molasses, which I've seen a lot of people recommend, was just tested about a year ago, and check out these results. 2,920% of the acceptable levels of lead. There's really no acceptable level of lead, but almost 3,000% more than what they consider as safe. 100% of the cadmium that they consider safe, and it's a known carcinogen. The good thing is there's no mercury in it, and arsenic is 700% higher. Now, do all brands have that problem? Maybe not. Quality varies, but the heavier, more concentrated, and the stickier the syrup is, like blackstrap molasses, the higher chance that you're consuming all these heavy metals. Not to mention putting sugar back in your blood that you're trying to avoid. If you're already trying to fight insulin resistance, adding a product that has contaminants, heavy metals, and sugar is not the move that you want to make. Make sure you watch my other video about the FMC, but even that only slightly slowed carb digestion. It blunted a little bit of the glucose effect after a starchy meal, but that's the extract effect. That's not a free pass to drizzle a sugary syrup on your meals. Here's the boring truth, okay? And it's not in a magical tablespoon of something you take every day. This is what you do to reverse insulin resistance. Eat your protein first every meal, 25 to 40 grams. Protein keeps you satiated and steadies your blood sugar. Having bitter greens and fiber will slow down glucose. Apple cider vinegar and lemon before your meals also slows down your blood sugar. Take a 10 or 20 minute walk after you eat. Your muscles will use the extra glucose without extra insulin. Lift some heavy things 2 to 4 times a week. Doesn't have to be the gym. It can be yard work. My favorite is the gym again. Make sure you ditch the industrial seed oils. The omega-6s are going to lead to inflammation, and that's going to worsen your insulin resistance. Make sure you get plenty of sleep and manage your stress. And if you want a sweetener, use allulose, use stevia, use erythritol without maltodextrin. There's plenty of ways to get your minerals. Magnesium and potassium in foods or my electrolyte drink, and you can get plenty of iron through beef liver or beef liver capsules. I use a tiny bit of molasses in my brown sweetener recipe, but it's not a tablespoon a day, nowhere close. If you love the flavor of it, use a tiny amount. I mean, a half to 1 teaspoon. But I hope you see it's not going to help your insulin resistance. Molasses is not going to reverse insulin resistance because insulin resistance is a chronic over-signaling problem, and molasses introduces that signal right back to your body. Remember that the research was not on molasses, and don't get tricked into something like this. If you need to reverse insulin resistance, do the boring things that I talked about, and don't look for a magic tablespoon that's going to raise your blood sugar and put money in somebody else's pocket while harming your health. Y'all, I hope this helped. I just want to get the information out there to you. Stay healthy. Don't fall for this molasses BS, and I'll see you on the next video.